What's up, everybody? My name is Mike Toledo. I can't even say my last name right, man. John Hiley's doing some samurai thing with his knife here. Anyways, John Hiley, Vince D'Alessandro, and Daniel Grom will be joining us shortly in a little bit. But we are just going to be solo tonight, guys. We are going to talk about some cool topics that are coming up that we'd like to share with you guys. So let's get right into it.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? What's happening? Hey, we're giving ourselves our own applause. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
I do appreciate that.
So we were talking, you and I, and we're trying to think of things that we wanted to mention because we have a lot of stuff to kind of cover quickly in this podcast, and a little bit of techniques, which we're going to talk about right now. Is you want to talk about, John, and then we're going to talk about, just let everyone know what we're going to talk about in this podcast, and we're going to talk about some contests that are going on between companies, and we're going to talk about a voting contest that we're giving out. We're giving out some special awards, and we'd like you guys to participate in it, and we're going to bring up those categories. And then we're going to obviously give a tech tip, and then we're going to talk about, don't forget, we're going to say it right now, don't forget to buy your PDR Tool Time t-shirt, please. Please. Come on, guys. Get in there. Buy some stuff.
I would be wearing a PDR Tool Time shirt right now. However, my Cubbies are in Game 5. So when this show airs next week, it better be Cubs versus Cleveland.
Great job.
Did the Cleveland already get it?
Yeah.
Cleveland got it already.
Wow, John. Hey. Cleveland's trying to get it, huh, this year?
Look, man, you give a city confidence, right? But I don't even watch baseball, but I'm going to be excited to get into this little bout that we're about ready to have. So I hope the Cubs win it too, because this will give me something to, argue with Vinny and with Vinny about, especially.
Yes.
Oh, I did forget one thing that we really want to talk about too, and that's why Daniel Grom's jumping in. Welcome in, Daniel Grom.
Hi, Daniel.
Glad you can make it, dude.
Yeah, he had to be at the doctor. I guess they were checking for polyps or something like that, potentially.
Yeah.
Giving you
Love that blue screen. Me and John are gonna do. Did you do something yet to him yet? Did you blue screen him yet? Get down.
I was thinking about it. I didn't have time yet, but I got plenty of footage, all kinds of Bernie's frozen shots. Stuff
I'm gonna put something behind him. So
Daniel, how's your butthole?
Yeah.
I'm trying to make my microphone work. Hold on.
Give it to the doctor.
We hear you. Go ahead.
We hear you just fine, but the doctor didn't put both hands on his shoulders, did he?
Hey,
it's a bad sign. If both hands hit your shoulders, you're in trouble.
Hey, you know what? I went to the doctor. I told him, when do we have to, do that checkup? He's like, probably, sometime next year, whatever. He goes, but we got to numb you.
Ooh.
I said, yeah, I hope so. He's like, you know why though, right? Oh, well, no. I mean, because it hurts. He's like, no, because it's highly addictive.
Oh.
So I was like, and he says it with a straight face, man. And I was like, get out of here, dude. He's like, nah, I'm just kidding. So.
Dude, did I ever tell you about the time when my son was born and he was being circumcised, and our doctor was a Filipino doctor, straight lace, always serious, and he's got him on the crucifix, right? Strapped down, getting ready to get a little skin taken off the tip. And it never has this guy cracked a smile or anything. And my little boy is crying and this and that. He goes, did you hear about that doctor that saved all the foreskins? And myself and the nurse look at each other. It's like, what the hell is he talking about? He's like, yeah, there's a doctor that saves all the foreskins. And he actually made a purse out of it. And we're like, what are you talking about? And he's straight. Yeah, he made a purse out of it. And when you rub on it, it turns into a suitcase.
That's
Come on, doctor.
nasty.
Chop as he, poor little.
Hey, Daniel, you good now or what?
I'm still messing with my microphone. I
Okay.
had to reconfigure my computer.
Okay, well, Daniel, we're rolling. If you look at the show notes on the chat, you'll see what we're talking about.
And we're going to add one more, squeeze that in there. We're going to talk about the slide hammer that we recently received from.
Are we recording?
Yes,
we are.
We're live.
Been recording. So, John, why don't you kick it off? We're going to talk about a technique that you brought up in our conversation before the podcast off the air, and that topic is called crowns. So, go ahead, take it away, dude.
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about that because I do believe there is interest in general with crowns and metal movement, and people want to ask, how we do it, how Mike does it, how, that we want to understand how each other tackles crowns because that's one of the hardest things to keep clean during the repair process. And also, we want to talk about some of the tools that we use to bring down the crowns. One of the tools that I've actually used in the past was the slapper tapper. And I want to touch on that as a tool. It's one of them things that when you first get it, you will brutally destroy the dent with it. But when you learn how to use that thing, boy, does it take down crowns nicely. You don't technically have a visual of what's going on underneath that slapper tapper, but it takes it down in square units. And that's a lot like a master tool. So some of you guys out there will hear people talk about master tools. And what that is, that's a slapping spoon looking tool that you actually hit the panel with. And again, instead of taking the crown down in circles, it'll take it down, if done properly, in more of like a square pattern, and it'll move the metal much more fluently once you learn how to use that thing. And again, but you end up destroying the dent quite a bit just learning how to use even a master tool. That's where they came up with that name. They call it a master tool because you do have to master that tool to be able to function and use it properly.
Yeah, that makes sense too, because that is a hard tool to get down and understand. Right. However, isn't the tool that you're referring to, the slapper tapper, that's obviously hard to understand and get down and master as well, correct?
It is. And it probably took me about 3 dents before I begin to realize where the sweet spot on the tool was. So a lot of times when you're using a master tool or you're using a slapper tapper, you're going to find a sweet spot on it that gives you the type of pattern that you want to lower the dent without leaving like little miniature creases or round dents inside of your crown while you're actually taking the crown down. So you find these certain spots in that tool. And another one I wanted to touch on is I want to say one of my students came here with it, and I'm going to buy one of these things. It's like a master tool that goes on the end of your blending hammer. So was it Keko who came out with that, guys? Help me out here.
That was TDN. Jonathan had that on the end of his hammer, his wooden hammer that he came out with.
Right.
And I really like that. So it's a mini version of the slapper tapper. And in my opinion, I think it makes more sense. If you think about like the slapper tapper or the master tool, those are big tools. But what is actually touching the car? It's a very small surface area.
Right.
So what do you have? You have a tool that's covering up all that viewing area. Mm-hmm. And you don't really need it that big, in my opinion. And the one that's on that hammer is shrunken down. It's still about probably about 2 inches maybe long.
Yeah.
So it's still
it's like a rectangle, like a 2-inch by 1.5 inch, something like that.
Yeah. And so you got more viewing area to see how the metal's working, in my opinion. And I think it's easier. It's a easier tool to learn how to use. And overall, I think it's better just because you can see what you're working on.
I'll have to say I disagree with you a little bit about the slapper tapper. Now, I do think a master tool, it's better than a master tool for me anyhow. But the slapper tapper has something to it when you really learn that tool and you're pinging the back of it. It has this precision effect to it. And I got to the point where, in fact, I had a big group of guys here. I had Ray Sapnew, Ryan Hampton, a bunch of Gene Fetty. We were all filming for a ding removal test for the PDR Nation. And I actually went through it with them when I was getting really good with it. And I did a crease line. It was a bulge out from a door brace in front of these guys. And this thing was probably 15 inches long. And I went through it with a slapper tapper in probably about 10 minutes and laid it down with one minor flaw. And there was one cut that I had to go in and push out very, very slightly. And I don't think you get that precision on a tight crease line like what I'm talking about with a master tool or with one of them, you know.
You
John,
definitely get a different effect when you're hitting on the back of it.
Yeah.
Than
I believe you get a
slapping.
more of a vibration effect is what I like about it. And, you know, a lot of people don't realize that vibration is so good because, I mean, you're literally sending little waves.
Is that what you're using consistently now, John? Are you using
I
Slapper
was
Tap or are you
using
using
that.
something else?
I was using that little square Jonathan tool, you know, that Daniel was talking about right there on the end of your hammer while he was here. And I definitely like the pattern that it covered, that wide pattern. And I liked it when you had bigger crowns on rails. So when you had rails that were choppy with crown waves around the dents, it seemed to take down in one whack, you know, what it would take 50 whacks with a blending hammer. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just takes down so much more metal at one time.
Now I'm using a tap down tip like from Dentcraft. It looks like if you kind of look like a blending tip that comes with the Shane Jacks tool, not the big round one, but the smaller, skinnier one, the domed one.
The H96.
I think that's correct.
It's kind of a flat mushroom.
Yeah, but it's got a little bit of a dome to it. But I put leather on it, and that's what I use to tap down the heavy crowns on the motorcycle tanks and heavy crowns on a fender that's been kicked in or a door that's got something really high crown. That just moves a lot of metal for me. It does leave a little bit of low spots in it, but that's something at least I can go and touch up. But if I'm using something too sharp, then obviously I have too much stuff I got to clean up, and you can see a line of dots going across the crown, which you want to avoid, right? Which
now,
I'm
John,
sure that's.
I got to ask you, dude, when you're using the master tool, or when you had used the master tool, were you slapping with it?
I was doing a little bit of both. I was slapping with it, and I was actually striking the back of it with a hammer as well.
Okay, because that's when we were in training. We weren't in actually advanced training and master tech training. We never slapped the crowns with the master tool. We would lay the master tool on there and then come across with our hammer and guide the crowns down. If you look at a Dent Wizard, the back of his master tool, you're going to have marks from his metal hammer hitting it. You'd always see little marks on it. So very rarely would we sit there and slap the crown. We were never.
I've got the Dent Wizard one, Vinny, and it's not designed for slapping.
Right.
The PDR Finesse one is. It's actually made with a handle, and the chrome part comes out above your fingers.
So you're not
If
racking.
you try to slap with the Dent Wizard one, it's very awkward because your fingers are hitting the panel.
Yeah.
If it's not just right. So actually, the PDR Finesse one is usually the one that I slap with. And one of the reasons that I like to slap with it, I'm really into this vibration effect. And what I mean by that is that you can hit a panel and you can send waves from side to side, essentially sending mini crowns from left to right, okay? So when a big dent gets hit in, it forms a crown up top. Well, on rails, because the vibration doesn't go as far on rails because the metal's tighter, the vibration pattern's tighter. It doesn't go like as far out as on a door. So you hit a door, the vibration pattern shoots all the way out. That's why it's so hard to blend on doors.
Yeah,
when you blend on the rail, the vibration pattern is very close to the tip of that tool, meaning that you can send little waves from left to right, essentially making, like if you're a tiny guy, you're making little bitty crowns. You're making that metal flow.
Yeah, you're sending shock waves back into the crown zones itself.
Absolutely. And I just love that open hand thing where you can send waves through the panel and get it to move without denting, the crown.
I think a lot of people have a hard time. I think, the technique to remove a nasty crown, like a sharp, hard crown, is pretty obvious, but it's the tool, what tool you're more comfortable with in getting it out super clean without making more work for yourself. I think one of the hardest things for people to identify and fix is have those light dents in the truck bed. And guys they're getting out their soft tip and they're just working it and they're working it and they're working it and they step back and they're going, damn, it's still there. And they're working it and they're working it and they're working, but they don't see the hitting crowns that are like 6 inches to 10 inches, maybe a foot from the main part of the dent. That's where a blending hammer would come in great. That's where you put the, your hammer extension, The blending balls now work awesome for that. I use the blending balls all over the place now, from a titanium one to the clown nose one you gave me to now the steel ball. I mean, they all work, but I think that's the safest tip to
See,
use.
I prefer the Dentcraft H96 tip on my Shane Jacks hammer, and I dribble it. I dribble it like you were talking about, John, like a basketball, and I let it rock, and I'm hitting it like 30 times in a second, and just trying to hit it as fast as I can, and I'm watching that metal. I like to be able to see everything that I'm hitting and move, and I don't quite hit it that hard. I'm hitting it pretty light where it doesn't make a dent. It's just moving the metal, and so I don't have to go back and cover myself unless it's an extreme thing, and then I'll change my method. But if it's a light crown like you're talking about on the truck bed, that's the method I like.
Yeah.
And what I want the audience to realize here, and sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but if you take a piece of metal and just hang it up in the middle and suspend it in the air, and you hit it in the center, you're not going to create a crown because the vibrations will flow out of the edges, right? It flows all the way through. There's nothing to create a crown. So a crown is created by the edge of a panel, the pushback from a tighter area than what's been hit, right? So it's the pushback from a fold in the panel, and somewhere in the middle, that resistance is meeting, and a wave is frozen in time. Like if you drop water in a bucket, the waves that flow out, okay, you're getting a metal wave that's frozen in time and locked into position that you got to unfreeze and flow back to where it came from. And I want to give you guys a quick technique. If you take the tactical hammer, and Barry from Ireland, who sent us the doodahs, told me this. So he's been having these ideas with the tactical, and you do the downward that I like to do, the tomahawk view, and hit down at the crown in the direction that you want to send it, and hit the crown on the back end with that crown killing rubber ball. Try that sometime and let me know how you guys like it. I've been loving that technique.
Oh, I've tried that, and it's great. It's fantastic. Yeah, your tool, what it does is it changes your ergonomics, and it's less fatigue on your shoulder, especially hail guys, man. If you're working on a hail car, I mean, if you don't have John's hammer, you're just going to kill your shoulder, and you're going to be hurting as you get older.
And to move forward, I don't want any too many shameless plugs, but yeah, go to tacticalpdrtools.com.
Yep.
I appreciate that, Daniel. But anyhow, to move on a little bit further, guys, you got anything else to say about crowns before we move on to our next topic?
Well, one thing, for me, it's instincts, but when do you go from a blending hammer to actually using a knockdown? For me, it's all instincts. I know when to do it, but what defines that for you guys, if you put it into words?
I can actually tell you, because I do that all the time. I carry different size. Like if the crown is as wide as my rubber ball, the crown killer rubber ball, and we're talking about knockdowns, I'll start with that. But then as I drop the peak, if it gets small to like the size of a soft tip, or bigger, like the size of another step, a smaller black round ball, the 1/4 inch, I'll switch to that. And then I'll keep going down smaller as the crown drops in size, based on the size of tip that I want to take down the metal without dropping the perimeter low. That's the key. You don't want to use such a big tip in that specific area that will drop the entire perimeter low. That's when you have problems, because you're hitting the top of it and it's taking down metal around it. So each step of the way, once that crown gets smaller, you step down to the next size tip, just because you're trying to maintain that thing without dropping the perimeter low. And
I call it building a bridge. You're building a bridge between the low and the crown, so you have a high peak to a low valley. And once you got a nice rolling hill, that's when I'm transitioning.
I don't like to do my crown work unless it's at least a 60% ratio to the dent. I want the crown to be 60% of the damage, because crown, it's always going to go in the path of least resistance. So you got to give it somewhere to flow,
Right.
I mean, you might want to take that dent and you want to push it a little bit because you want it to have some resistance to flow into. If the dent's big and round and deep and you do the crown work, it's going to flow downwards.
Yeah.
And that downward motion you're going to start getting holes in your crown or dots in your crown because it's going in an unnatural direction. So a lot of times I take a dent and I look at it like this, okay? It's 90% dent, 10% crown. I'm going to work the dent with cola fria, whatever, as much as possible to put that reverse pressure on the crown. So when I start working that crown, it knows where to go. It can flow back in its natural position.
Yeah.
You know, rather than going.
I love that metaphor, John. I think that's a perfect way. I'm sure that's what you teach your guys.
It is.
But that's a good way of putting it into words. What I call instincts. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, not all. I had to leave just for a second, but it's not always. You know, you have to understand which one's giving you what, because you're not always going to tap down first, or you're not always going to push first. You have to kind of test the waters to see what is going to give you what first.
And it depends on how stiff the metal is. That definitely comes into play in what tool you're going to use. You know, a knockdown or a blending hammer. You know, how much drum you get in that metal.
Well, some techs think that they have to do one or the other, all of it. You know what I mean? Like I have to get rid of this crown all the way before I can push. It's not. You know
what I think happens is guys take what they learn from their trainer as gospel, and that's not the case, guys. If someone told you there's a rule, I mean, if I listened to my trainer, they said don't do creases. Okay, well, I didn't listen to that.
Yeah.
That's what I teach though myself though, is I teach keep an open ear. Like, you know, take a little bit. This technique might be fully for you, but what he does, those bits and pieces of his success on that can actually can help you on yours. You know, just keep an open mind. That's what PDR is about. Keep a big open mind, because the more closed you are, the less likely you'll be successful.
Everybody's got a different style.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
it all works.
No dent is alike. It's like a snowflake.
And for me, working crowns to kind of in this segment is that, to me, it's all about just controlling the flow. If you can control the flow of that dent and get it to do what you want without damaging it during the process, that is key.
Go ahead, Vince.
Okay. Well, the next topic we're going to talk about is some of the competitions that are out there right now. And just a friendly reminder, a gentle reminder for those that have not been paying attention or running out of time. There's a couple cool competitions. One is the A1 Monster Dent competition, where you're supposed to submit a nasty dent that you've used an A1 tool to fix. And A1 is offering a gift certificate of $150 towards A1 tools for the nastiest dent.
And where do you do that on your Facebook, on the Facebook page, Vinny?
I believe it is on Facebook. If you go onto Facebook and into all the Dent techs, she advertises it in multiple forums.
Oh, she does. Okay.
Groups, yeah, from Dent techs only to Dent World, the Dent World, all those different groups that are out there. She's advertising it, and there's some phenomenal dent work that's being done out there. And to showcase the tools that they're using to fix these monster dents is really intriguing, and you can learn a lot. You know, and of course, there's the big names that are always out there that are putting out these huge dents, but there's also some lesser names out there, and it's a good way of getting yourself known if you are using A1 tools and you're fixing monster dents out there. And it's, you know, throw it up there, see what happens, see what sticks. There's some beautiful work going on out there.
Yeah, and Maria, the owner of A1 Tools, is absolutely the sweetest, nicest person. Used to watch her Periscopes all the time, and she's keeping things going over there. I mean, she's doing a phenomenal job. So a little shout out there for Maria.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the end of the show, right?
Technical difficulties here.
Yeah, we can't really hear you on your mic that well.
Yeah.
Mike spends a lot of money on high-tech stuff.
that doesn't work.
And me and Vince have the low-tech stuff, and it always works.
Hey, my stuff always works. I got some high-tech stuff
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah, but
Mike just buys something new all the time.
yeah,
I find something that works, and I try not to deviate from it, as you guys already know.
Sure.
I got that Osmo, and I haven't even touched it. I've had it for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And it's charging still.
we got to give Mike a hard time.
But he can always hit mute, so we don't.
The
hear all that stuff.
reason we have to give him a hard time is he makes us spend so much money.
Yeah.
Oh, he's already got me on
This is
the
a new
next,
toy.
mic setup that he's telling me about now.
Yeah, and the next thing that we want to talk about is Ultra Dent Tools competition. And this is a competition for tool makers. Guys out there, you have to have a working prototype. And he is looking for that idea that just is a winner chicken dinner. So if you guys have something, contact Steve. You can go on their website. They have that information on their website about it. But he's giving $10,000 away, man. That's a big deal, man. You can take your nice wife to a nice vacation in Tahiti with that. That's what I would do. And then they'll sign you and market your tool for you and sell it around the world while you're sitting on the beach. You're collecting a check. I think it's a good thing. So,
yeah,
guys, get on that. It's getting down to the deadline. And
Daniel, you're in bed with Steve over at Ultra Dent, and how has he treated you with your tool sales and stuff like that?
He's obviously treated me really well. Now I've been working with Steve and his whole team there. Everybody there, they're really great to work with. Doreen over there, and the guys in the shop. Everybody there is really cool, and they give me quarterly reports, and I get my check. And
don't be afraid. Don't forget to mention Nikki.
Nikki, yep,
yeah.
Nikki's awesome. Who else is in there?
Nate,
Nikki Green,
Nate makes the tools, the custom tools. Well, the whole team. Tom over there. Everybody in there. Yeah,
Tom's great.
Yeah.
Love those guys.
Cool. So we got the contest out of the way. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, one of the big things we've been talking about is we have a contest awards as well. So Vince, name the categories. What do we got here?
Okay, we got 4 categories, and it is not the best beard because we already know who has the best beard. So if you plan on coming,
might be a second place award this year, though.
That's it. That's about it. It's a second place award for best beard. But in all honesty, there's 4 categories only, and those are the best interview of the year for us for PDR Tool Time. We want you to vote on who you enjoyed hearing the most out there. We know kind of who we'd like to pick, but really we want to hear from you guys, and you guys are going to have a huge influence on this.
And you can't vote for Vince.
You can't vote for any of us.
No,
because Vince would win.
So what's the categories?
Okay, so we've got 4 categories. We got interview of the year. We got tool of the year. We got best glue pulling tool, and we also have best accessory, PDR accessory. Now you can vote on these, and Mike and John are going to put up a voting poll on our PDR Tool Time website. The one that's on our Facebook site sucks, and that's not going to work.
Yeah, that was confusing.
Very confusing, and I think people were just adding their own categories, which got even more confusing.
Yeah, by the time you see this, we'll have something added on the PDR Tool Time site.
And we know who won that because somebody added John Hiley's best beard award, and literally more people clicked on that, like 2 or 3 times the amount of people clicked on that, which prompted me.
Was this somebody you, John?
Maybe no. Which you can look at the people who clicked on it. It's Facebook, but which prompted me to perhaps maybe have an award for the second best beard at the Mobile Tech Expo.
Now, keep in mind, there are a couple things that are going to be excluded from this. John's beard being one of them.
I'm number one. I win first all the time.
And John's tactical hammer, he's not included in this. So
I hope Gene Fetty's listening to this because he's been rocking one, man.
Yeah.
Wade's got a good one, right?
Yeah, Wade's got one. Hey, we'll go staying on track because we're on time. I'm the time manager here.
Yeah. So just
we've got.
Don't vote.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Don't vote for the tactical PDR hammer, and don't vote for anything that we've done, because we're not going to win an award for ourselves. And believe me, you guys are going to want this award. It's the coolest award that will be at Mobile Tech Expo, hands down.
Yeah. Yep. I'm telling you guys will love it. You'll definitely want to show it off. Let's put it that way. Okay, but when you guys go to the voting, I'm talking to you guys, Daniel, Grom, Vince, Big John. Who are we going to put in companies' names that are basically nominated for this category so they can pick it, or are they just going to name somebody's going to name it? So what do you guys think? Let's talk about right here.
I think they should name it, because there's things that we haven't talked about, or things that we haven't even discovered that might be in contention as well. One gentleman put up there the scissor chair from Australia the other day, and that totally blew my mind. I didn't think about that at all.
I think we should definitely take suggestions from our group out there, our revolutionaries, and then based on their suggestions, maybe we'll throw out a poll that's with the most popular suggestions
as we get closer.
Going back to that scissor chair, has that everything been for sale?
Yeah, it's for sale. What do you mean? What do you mean?
You're talking about that chair that
from Australia?
Folds down to a creeper?
Yeah.
That's for sale?
Yeah.
I believe so.
I want to buy one.
It's on his site. It's going to cost you $200 and some, and then another $100 to ship it. So you should be good.
Okay.
Okay. It's a great chair. I'm actually thinking about buying one myself, and that's probably on my wish list, which is our next topic. Okay. This is our last topic before we get into the slide hammer topic that we all got. But our wish list, I'm not going to go into tools we can do that, but a little tiny. But let's make it quick though, guys. But a wish list, like what tool you want, or that exists, PDR tool related, and what tool you wish would be made. Daniel, we've talked about this. You've had plenty of time. You always have something you wish you had, and what you want to buy.
This is what I want. I want a Japanese samurai sword maker. That I don't know if you've ever seen a samurai sword that's forged with clay, and it has all these wave marks, and it's really cool. I want a set of tools made by a samurai sword maker with all those waves in it, and even wrapped like a samurai sword. The handles will be wrapped. I want them black, and I want them just beautiful. I want a set of whale tails like that are just so badass, and that will last
use them if they're like that.
Ever. Yeah, John's. If you guys are watching the video, John's bringing out his samurai sword collection now.
This one is hand forged, like you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever seen what I'm talking about, you've seen knives that are done like that. I want a set of forged tools that are just so beautiful and just badass that you'll just want to hang them on the wall.
So impractical for PDR, but look good.
There you go.
No, it'd be practical.
You see all the little waves in there, Daniel?
Yeah, that's cool. That's
Good
picture.
job,
You guys got to watch the video on that.
Yeah.
Man, that is a thing of beauty, guys. That hand forged look is a thing. It's like Damascus steel, It's a thing of beauty.
It's super. And now, Daniel, that's your ultimate wish list that you wish you would have or wish would be made.
Well, realistically, I want a whole set of CarePoint tools. That's what you want. That already exists. Okay, got it. Yeah, those are. I mean, I'm telling you guys, if you guys don't have any CarePoint, them are some damn good tools.
Well, I've recently got some. I've really got some CarePoint. I still have to call them because I'm not sure what I have, to be honest with you. I don't know. I have to call them and talk. But those red-handled ones you got look friggin' awesome. Yeah, the adjustables, the ratchet ones. Yeah. Okay, so what would I wish I
Yeah, you're
had?
up, John. Yeah, Mike, what do you got?
I do. I think the one thing I want is that creeper chair. So that was one that was on my list. So I think I want one of those. What I wish I want made, which I think I know I put it out in the public, and you guys all saw me do it. Is I put a magnet inside my hammer, my paddle, and then
Yeah.
I put a tip on it, and it fits perfect. I mean, it doesn't fall out, and I can tap things with it. And I wasn't using it because I want to tap it, because my paddle is a little heavy compared to a normal paddle. It's meant to be heavy. But if the tool makers would make a magnet that inside their, at the bottom of the base where you put the tip in there, it would solve a lot of quick problems like putting things on, taking things off, and then putting it on their tap downs. I did mention it to Steve. Steve had his, you could see a light bulb pop on him like crazy. So I think he's in the works of doing that. I think he might even be considering making a tool like that. And I don't know if I should say it, but still, I mean, it's my idea. So, I mean, I think guys should make maybe a hail tool that guys are just pushing straight up, that you can put a magnet base in that tool tip right there. And then you can put your tip on there, and then you can just go to town. And you could still, it would still be strong enough that you can have a tip on both sides and just flip it and do that.
Yeah, I want a tool that you can load all the tips in the shaft, and then you just turn the handle, and then up pops the tip.
Like a revolver.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but
it's like that.
But I think mine's that was more realistic, that will actually come true. I think we'll see that by 2017. I think multiple tool companies will have something like that. I have a feeling I will see that. So,
yeah.
Well, my ultimate tool that hasn't been invented yet, I'm actually working on. So it's an accessory which you guys know about. So
yeah, where is that? I want some of that.
It's coming along really good. I'm in the process of talking to more intelligent people than I am, and getting it working here. So come first of the year, we're going to be talking about it quite a bit.
I think events that is going to be an awesome tool, because every day I wish I have it. So I don't want to give anything away, but damn, I wish I could. I wish I had it. So,
and it's funny because now it's like, when you buy a new car, all of a sudden you see that car everywhere. It's like you thought you had a Corvette and no one else has a Corvette. Now you buy a Corvette and everyone has a Corvette. You're looking at Corvettes everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, now that I've developed this tool, I'm looking at pictures on Facebook and stuff on Dent forums. I'm like, oh my God, he needs my tool. He needs my tool. He needs my tool.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess we're letting the cat out of the bag. Vince has got something in the works, guys. So, and I'm telling you guys, it's badass. Yeah, you're gonna like it. You're gonna use it. It's gonna be good. So,
and then on my wish list, I'm in the market for a shop light. I'm still using my Ultra single fluorescent bulb. And I've been catching some flack. People are private messaging me, making fun of me and stuff like that. And not that I care what people think, but maybe
no, you don't. No, you don't. I know that.
Well, I just got, Vince, I just got the new Ultra 4-foot. I mean, it's a big light and real wide.
Yeah.
I'm really liking that one. I'm really starting to use that one more than.
I have the 4-foot. However, I wish I had the 3-foot wide instead of the 4-foot wide. So it's just easier for me to maneuver. So
yeah, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for some type of LED light system for my shop. I have a Chubby, a board. I have a James Lee. I have a Carl Stuckey, but I don't have anything big for the shop that I could wheel around to get the whole side besides my fluorescent. So that's what I'm going to be looking at here shortly. Johnny.
All right, John.
I would say, as far as a tool that I'm looking forward to getting a hold of, well, after this last hail damaged car where I was working on an SUV roof, massively long, when it was like an expedition, I really could have used that Carbon Tech rod. I think that right there is going to be one that's going to be on my future to purchase list. And just based on the reviews alone with the non-flex, I mean, I'm sold. I mean, Paul Corden was all over it. Shane Jacks has talked about it over and over again, and a lot of guys are saying that it's money. So that's something that's definitely on my list.
What is it? A carbon what?
The Carbon Tech Hail Rod.
From Zimmerman, Todd
Yeah,
Zimmerman.
from Todd Zimmerman. Essentially, it's a hail rod that comes in 3 pieces. I've looked at it. One piece is a little bit longer and the other 2 pieces are shorter. But you snap them together, and it's I think it's 7 foot total.
Yeah.
As a hail rod. But from my understanding, he uses an 1/8 inch thick carbon fiber, which is the next level up from your traditional roll wrap carbon fiber, or actually several levels up. The cost of the carbon goes way up when you start getting into different thickness. And from my understanding, I haven't used one yet, but I really trust the guys that are talking about it. And they're saying that just because it's that 1/8 inch thickness, that you literally feel no give from your hand to the end of that 7 foot.
What does it have, like a silver end on it? And
Yeah.
Yes.
okay. Does it have okay? Cause I think Ultra carries it, right, Daniel? I think they carry it now.
I think everybody carries it now.
I think
Okay.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, but now he has accessories for it. So now you could have a whale tail attached at the end of it. So if you need a 9 foot long whale tail, you could throw a whale tail on the end of it and get underneath the brace on a roof.
Yeah.
Yes,
The
us
reason
California boys don't have much use for it, but I still want it.
I'm doing a hail car right now. Right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's super light. You guys, all the hail guys would drool over it. Oh, I'll finish that in an hour, Mike. But yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, the reason why I brought it up, because I think I saw it yesterday when I was at Ultra, or Wednesday. And I saw it. So that was what you wish. Is there anything you wish you would have made, Sean?
Yeah, actually, I was telling you guys about this earlier. I was using a Costco ladder to do some side panels of a hail damaged vehicle. And I was working so long on the side of this car. I mean, this is the one that had like hundreds of dents, and a lot of them were quadruple oversized. They were like the size of Frisbees in some spots. And I mean, it was a wild trying to keep everything from like oil canning, stuff like that. It was that type of roof. So I'm there for a long time. Well, I jump up and I sit on the Costco stools bar up there. And I actually got kind of comfortable there for a minute, pushing dents in a seated position on top of the Costco ladder. Well, I got to thinking, I was like, wouldn't that be nice if there was a certain type of ladder that also incorporated some light seating, something that you could actually, while you're working the back of an SUV roof, you could kind of sit on for a little while and incorporate that into your repair process.
Have you ever looked at a sex chair that you can hang from your rafters?
Well, not for hail repairs, man.
Yeah, it would work really well.
I had a friend of mine that actually had one of them hanging in his living room. So you walk in, you go to swear to God, man. You go to his house, and we're looking like, what you guys got there? And he tells wife, be like, oh, honey, you didn't put that away, and I'm like, oh God.
So I got a friend that has the same thing, and he left it hanging up in his bedroom. And by about middle of the party, all the women were in there trying it out and grinding on each other.
Oh God.
And it was the hit of the party. So if you want a good, successful party, get a sex chair, hang it up, and just let's see what happens.
The
So
sling,
like,
right?
was that
Hawaiian sling or something?
Yeah, was that like Swinger International Party or something like that?
Come on, Daniel, fess up.
This guy is exactly that.
And this guy you speak of is his name.
We all got that one friend, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, we're gonna move on. Okay,
My friend.
One of the other things we're talking about, we all got, was the slide hammer from Dent Gear, the platinum slide hammer. So Vince, your turn to lead off. What did you think of it when you've been using it? What's your thoughts on it? What do you think?
To be honest with you, I've only used it on one dent so far. I haven't.
Oh my gosh!
But it's awesome. As soon as I opened it up, I'm like, it was like, oh, it was, holy cow, this thing is legit. It's
nice,
awesome. The first thing I wanted to test out is if it was going to pinch my fingers, because the last slide hammer I bought, the first thing I did was got a big blood blister right on my hand, and I got the pass through one. I don't know what you guys got, but I got the pass through, and I love it. It's solid, and the fact that you could switch it out on the weights on the back to however you want, and the fact that you could adjust the spring on it. Now, Daniel, he's got the Pull Dog to compare it to, so he might be the one to really.
Yeah, Daniel, give us your thoughts, Don.
The pull dog and the Dent gear slide hammer are very, very close. The Dent gear is more versatile because it has weights that you can screw on, so you can make it light, you can make it medium or heavy. And I actually used it today. I was working on an aluminum tank, and I had to fix. I was going through the petcock, and I bent the crap out of this thing, and I had to use the edgy tool, and I had to put all the weights on it. I needed as much weight as I could with that thing, and being able to screw on those weights was huge. It made all the difference. It gave me a nice heavy slide hammer and that edgy tool, and reshape that opening again. It was perfect, and it's just more versatile than the one thing that is nice about the pull dog is it has a big like wheel almost on the end, so you can tension the spring down. You can do it on the Dent gear one, but it's just a smaller little knob. It's not as big, so the pull dog's a little bit more convenient, but the Dent gear one passes through that and it slides. So when you see it, it looks kind of short, but the actual throw is longer than you think.
Yeah. John, what do you think about it? You're showing it, you guys. So if you guys are check this video, now let me clarify to everybody, John, about the videos, because I think people are confused. They think the videos are coming out at the same time as the podcast drops on Tuesday. What day do you drop these videos?
The videos come out as late as Friday. Sometimes we get them Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. But we do want you to watch the podcast and then come back and check out the video. We're so selfish. We just want you to see us all week. I mean, we want to be on your mind. We want to be on your mind.
Cool. Thanks for the enlightenment.
But it does take a little bit of time to do the video editing. So because of that, it just takes a little bit longer. And we don't want to drop them both at the same time because, again, we want you to
we want you to
now,
listen.
what do you think of it? What do you think of the Dent gear slide hammer?
I think it's the best slide hammer that I've ever used. Now, I've never used a pull dog, so that's out of the game for me to talk about. But as far as slide hammers, it is my new go-to favorite slide hammer. Very well built. It has that metal-to-metal clank that I like. I like to keep the tension on the spring nice and tight in most situations. The only thing I'm getting used to, I'm not used to having a slide hammer with a full pass-through. Now, I know that he has an option to have just a single receiver, but I'm getting used to it, and I'm getting more fluent with it as far as using it with that full pass-through. I was the same with the mini lifter. When I first got one with the pass-through, I was like, oh, this sucks. I'm always missing. I like to clink it, you know.
The cool thing about that pass-through, though, is he's got a groove and he's got an O-ring. So when you put your tab on there, you slide that O-ring over.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I have to agree. I don't use that either. I take it off and I just put my fingers around.
No, what you do is you roll it back like a rubber, man. You roll it back and it'll click onto the higher.
I know.
Rib.
What's a rubber?
Got 14 kids. So actually, this is. Would you say this is probably the first tool that we've actually all have and we all talked about on this podcast? All the podcasts we have, is it? I'd like to do more like this.
No, we all have the edgy tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, but did we talk about it all like this?
Oh, you were gone when David.
Well, then this is the first one. Then.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
This thing is surprisingly nice. He does have it like put in the right positioning where your hands won't slide off of it. I love that because some slide hammers, they make them, you know, it's just anybody's size hand will fit on this because you can kind of grab it down low or in the middle. Very nice piece. I love it.
He's right. It's the last slide hammer you'll buy.
Yeah. Now my thoughts on it is I agree with all you guys. I do like the tension. Some pulls I don't want tension. Like I don't want any spring at all. I want to snap like John does. I like that. For the rails, I think it's necessary to almost have a spring in your tab because you don't want it to pop off prematurely. I think it gives you that grab on the rails.
I think as you go bigger, if you go bigger tabs, bigger dent, then you want the spring.
You do want the spring. You use it for spring? I use it for less spring on the smaller ones. So
I think it
Yeah,
pulls.
I mean, I
harder
use
with
more. I
the
use more
spring.
spring for the smaller ones. Huh?
See, I think it actually pulls a little bit hot, like more of a high spot with the spring because it's more of a gentle pull than like a clank or a
Yeah.
snap at the end.
Well,
Well, you usually with the spring, you're getting more pulls. It's
Yeah.
not going to snap the
Well, see, I'm
tab.
really on the smaller ones. I'm really reserved with my hits anyway. So I actually will hit them real light a couple times, and then I usually snap the tab off without pulling through. You know what I mean? So I guess
Yeah.
that's my personal technique. That's the only reason I use small tabs. I really don't like small tabs. I like big tabs, but I use small tabs to finish up and dial in the last little dots. And I just take a little tiny pull, and then I can grab them and snap them right off.
yeah. I
And
call it snipers. That's what you do, right?
yeah,
Little snipers.
yeah,
So,
yep. I say that too. I love that.
um,
Damn.
so great. So we got through that. I think that's a wrap. That's pretty much a wrap, guys. We covered everything. That was a quick, good, all around
Absolutely.
podcast. I hope you guys like that one. We try to stay on track. If you guys haven't noticed lately, we really are trying to keep this flowing for you guys. So
A
again,
tech tip.
oh, that's right. See,
I think
right?
we
We
gave
almost
a
got
ton
up.
of tech tips right there.
You know what? We did. We
The
did.
whole-
Let's
The
save
whole
it.
podcast was top tech tips.
Well, can I tell my one productivity tech tip?
All right, go for it.
Yeah, very
Now I
quickly.
have to do one.
Yeah, just very quickly, I just want to tell you guys something that works really well for me. And I studied, actually read a book about this. And there's been studies that in the morning, your mind is actually 3 times more effective. You're just quicker and you can get things done at a much faster pace early in the morning because your mind's not worn down. It's nice and fresh, especially after you had your coffee. So what I do is I schedule an hour to do my marketing in the mornings. Sometimes actually longer than an hour because it's actually the research has been done that you actually get 3 times more done early in the morning than you will later on in the day. It's kind of like you do 1 hour early in the morning, you'd have to do 3 hours at the end of the day to get the same amount done. So I want to encourage you guys to get out there and get in your marketing vortexes early in the morning and work at being the best business you can possibly be. It's a great time to do that. Wake up a little bit early. I get up at 4:00 now because of that.
Good for you, John. And you're right. I have to agree. Yeah, you are way more productive in the morning than you would be at night, especially with people with kids. Okay, I'm going to do a quick tech tip. Mine's more audio thing so if you guys are starting to get into videos promoting your company, which I think is something you should definitely do. If you're going to do a Snapchat like John does, or if you do Instagram, Facebook, whatever, videos are very powerful, and so is the sound along with the video. You want to make sure you have good sound. And how do you want to do it? You want to do it super cheap with your phone, regardless if you have an iPhone or if you have a Droid. If you have a Droid or an iPhone, I highly recommend the Rode Video Mic Micro Me. I think it's Video Micro. I think that's what it is. It does have a cable. It's this one. You have to have an adapter. I consider getting the TRS to TRRS. I know it's a little technical for you guys, but trust me, that's what you need. I will put it on our blog on the PDR Tool Time, so you guys know exactly what to purchase. I don't really care for the one that plugs straight into the phone on the Rode one. This one's you get a little bit better sound and more reliability. If you have an iPhone, it's a little more pricier. Sorry, this one costs $59. Okay, and it sounds awesome. Okay. And one tech tip too, you need to make sure you have it either have your phone on airplane mode or something else, because you will get some interference occasionally if you have your phone on the cellular network, because if someone's making a call or text message, you could get some interference. However, the best sounding ones I have now for my iPhone is the Shure MV88. You'll get tremendous sound for such a little thing. It plugs straight in your phone. It even comes with an app that'll even make it sound much, much better. So this will run you about $150 though. So those are my tech tips. If you want better sound for your video, get those little mics. They're not that expensive and you're good to go.
Okay, before we wrap it up, I just want to remind everyone to support us by buying t-shirts, and you could do so through our PDR Tool Time Revolution page on Facebook or on our website. It's a cheap shirt, and we are breaking even on it.
Absolutely. And head on over to denttrainer.com. We have $99 per quarter now. It's a lifetime renewal every 3 months for only $99. You get all the videos in denttrainer.com, all the marketing, all the business stuff for $99, 3 months. Get in there and try it out. You won't turn back. I'm telling you.
Damn good deal, guys. We just uploaded a ton of videos too. I just uploaded a ton of videos. So you guys, and John's been next. Like, we get so many videos, I can't keep up with him, and he can't keep up with me. So
I just uploaded the best tutorial I've ever done. It's a mini one, but it was just a great tutorial on the biggest high strength steel 2016 Chevy Silverado roof. And I learned so much on this dent, and I pass along all that information on to you of what I learned on how to make high strength steel below when it's a large crowned up dent.
Yeah, we gotta wrap it up, guys. But listen, we definitely need to talk about that in the future. So we're out of here.
Join the revolution.
Level up your tools.
Stop sucking eggs.
And protect you.